Axel. Eyesight is there, the high drive, deep center, go, 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 we're out of here, we're out of here, say a playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A gold pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. We're about to reach the afternoon mark of this Saturday, October 26th, but our closer of the regular season, here is the time. It's Salem and Penns Grove, a crosstown rivalry here in Salem County, a little niche corner of South Jersey. And we haven't been here a whole lot, but we've seen Penns Grove a lot this season. This is the third time we've covered Penns Grove this year. We saw them in week 0 versus Paulsboro, and later on in the season, earlier this month, with Woodbury. Now, of course, with Mark Macarone at the helm of Penns Grove, these two teams both having first-year head coaches, Kemp Carr for Salem, Mark Macarone for Penns Grove. The results on the bottom of your screen, they tell a little bit of the story. 0-8 for Salem, 1-7 for Penns Grove. But if you just look at the records on paper, you don't think that this is a meaningful game, but it is. Yeah. Penns Grove at the moment in the United Power Rankings is 16th in South Jersey Group 1, and with a win today, would most likely solidify their case for a South Jersey Group 1 playoff berth, which they did not have last year, despite having a 6-5 record. I don't know how that works, but you know, the strength of schedule obviously helps a little bit. But you know what? Penns Grove is not the 1-7 team that you may think. You know, the way that it is for me, the way I look at it is how badly you lose. And you know, they play good competition over in the Diamond Division, but only in 2 games this year has Penns Grove lost by more than 21 points or 3 possessions. Well, for Salem, they've lost by 21 or more in 6 of their 8 games this year. So, you know, I think that part of what we're...
And their results and penalties being assessed against their team.
You know, part of what we're going to be looking at throughout the night, part of what we're going to be looking at is how are these guys going to be able to, you know, find a way into scoring columns early. And Penns Grove wants this playoff spot very bad. They want to be able to shock the world. And I think that this is a very doable possibility for them. So we've got Salem and Penns Grove. We're going to take a quick break while we take her around with some settings. We'll be right back here from Penns Grove.
You want to run up with the box? I got close with the
Sorry about that, folks. We realized our microphone wasn't plugged in, so I was just holding a paperweight, basically, for about 60 seconds. But we've got Salem and Penns Grove here in this niche corner of South Jersey here in Salem County. Al Muskowitz is on the sideline. I'm Dan Wilkins up here with Vincent Vogt, our executive producer, and both teams are ready to go. The last time we visited Penns Grove for a football game, Riverside came to town on an unusual Thursday morning football game as a part of Teachers Convention weekend on November 9th of last year. That was a game that Penns Grove won 51-22. But for Salem, they have had a lot of troubles on offense this year. They only scored 7 points in their first 4 games of the season, with 3 of those being shutouts to Woodbury, Glassboro, and Willingboro. Now, they did lose 14-7 to Cinnaminson, a team that's held their own at 500. But at the same time, they've been picking up the pace on offense, scoring 14 against Shalleck, 7 against Middle Township, 19 against West Deptford, a season high, and 13 versus
Salem has
Woodstown.
won the toss and elected to defer. Penns Grove will be receiving the football.
And there you go. So the coin toss, Salem wins. Salem defers, and Penns Grove will receive the football to start this ball game here in Carneys Point. And I think that's one of the things that should be noted about this game is that
if you would, please greet the Penns Grove High School football team.
We have to find positive ways to talk about teams that haven't had the most success this year. One team being 1-7 and the other team being 0-8. You have to find ways to kind of create positive talking points, and we can with Salem. The fact that they have been turning the tide a little bit, even though that doesn't show in the official win column. And look, for Penns Grove, they have lost 4 of their games by 1 possession this year. So they have certainly had the chance to get in front, and they're going to be looking to compete for a playoff spot here this afternoon. From Jim Devonshire Field, here comes the Red Devils. And Salem High School, the Rams also coming out in the blue and white, the home of Jonathan Taylor, 2017 grad, and running back for the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, times have changed drastically in Salem since Taylor walked in 2017 and went on to play an impressive college ball career, and then still doing his thing over in Indianapolis as well. So they're going to line up at the 50, and we're going to air the national anthem performed by the Penns Grove Marching Band.
For the playing of our national anthem by the Penns Grove High School Marching Band.
Alright, so there was your performance of the national anthem by the Penns Grove Marching Band. As we said, Salem coming into this game 0-8, sitting in 22nd in the South Jersey Group 1 United Power Rankings. Penns Grove right now is in 16th spot, but there are teams that are on the outside waiting and maybe even watching today's game to see how the results play out, to see if they may have an outside chance of getting in. Among those would be Kip Cooper, who is playing Bishop Eustis today, so maybe after the game they might be checking in for some scores. We should note that Kip is leading Bishop Eustis 8-6 late in the second quarter. Matt Cosentino is over there, so that could have some lower seeding implications in South Jersey Group 1. Along with that, Highland Park is in the 18 spot, and Pittman, who we saw Schlack Gateway 44-0 last night, including 21 points in the first quarter, ended up solidifying a 6-1 campaign for Pittman right now at the 19 spot. And actually, as we speak, Eustis got called for intentional grounding in the end zone. There are 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and Kip is up 10-6 on Bishop Eustis. So we'll keep an eye on that game as we go along, as that would directly affect, especially if Penns Grove loses today. We will see how it works, and we'll see how the playoff implications play out. But a handful of games on the slate for South Jersey football today. Cinnaminson and Burlington Township is one of them. That was a game that we were going to pick up, but it ended up falling through a couple of weeks ago. Along with that, a huge game with Cherokee and Winslow. That's being played at 1 o'clock today over in the top public-ranked team in the state. And we can actually run through another out-of-town score before we even get this kickoff going. Haddon Heights and Northern Burlington are tied 0-0 at the half. So it has been a defensive gauntlet for those two teams, the Garnets and the Greyhounds. As the referees are at the center, getting ready to go here. Got 48 minutes of WJFL football here from Jim Devonshire Field as we close out our 23-game regular season slate. If you watch some of our broadcasts from 2023, we only did 16 football games from the start of the regular season to the end. We didn't do that many. And in 8 of those games, one team won by 25 or more. That has only happened 3 times this season. So we've gotten pretty lucky with rolling some good games this year. Last night was not one of them, but you know, it's sometimes, you know, we had something with basketball this past winter where we had blowout after blowout after blowout, and then we finally got one good game in the interim. So now we are wrapping up a successful football campaign. When we find out what the playoff brackets will be looking like, of course, we'll be scrambling to send those emails to the athletic directors, and we'll let you know probably by Tuesday or Wednesday where we will be broadcasting on Friday and Saturday for a double dip in playoff football. All right, so the delay is that nobody brought the down marker out for... we are off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen, here on this Saturday afternoon. You know, I can't say I've ever seen that before. They're getting ready to go. Do they have it now?
See something on, yeah. See it on, yeah, right there.
There we go. And look at this. Somebody on the golf cart is carrying, in the back of the golf cart, the down marker. That's incredible. In the world of broadcasting, they like to say you see something new every day. Last night we saw a wide receiver get picked off. That doesn't happen a lot. But, man, here we are. Salem 0-8, Penns Grove 1-7. Both teams fighting for a playoff spot. And we are going to start this game with Knowledge Young rolling that ball out of the 15-yard line, and a kicking out of bounds penalty will kick us off here at Jim Devonshire Field. Penns Grove will take over here for their first offensive possession of the afternoon. You know what? Penns Grove has some guys that are certainly worth talking about. They lost Parker in a transfer to West Deptford. You know, they lost their biggest rusher, Bryce Parker, to West Deptford this past season. But it was kind of like a John Calipari situation where all the Kentucky basketball players leave for Arkansas, and a whole bunch of Penns Grove players left for West Deptford. That's how influential of a coach John Emmel was here in Penns Grove, rather. You know, he had some of his best players actually leave Penns Grove to go all the way up 295 to West Deptford and go play with him there. But starting this drive from the 35, we'll talk about one of their leading rushers, Karan Caesar, in a second, along with their starting quarterback, Romello Erickson. He hands it off to Caesar up the middle. He'll get about 6 yards, and that'll be second down for the Red Devils.
On the 1 6-yard gain, that'll go second down and 4.
So there's Romello Erickson. He is 49 for 104 in passing this year, just a hair over 47%. He Actually, both quarterbacks in this game have more interceptions than they do touchdowns. Romello Erickson, six TDs, 9 picks. And Troy Carey, the primary starter for Salem, he has 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Here comes another handoff. That will get sniffed out at the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss. And the Rams are hyped up about that one. That'll bring up 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 4 from the 40-yard line. That tackle was made by number 56, Wyatt Irvine, the sophomore. So here we go, 3rd and 4. Caesar and Erickson and crew looking to drive through for their first down of the afternoon. He does hand it off to Caesar, who breaks free. He gets leveled low, and that will be a 1st down for the Red Devils. We saw this with Caesar 2 weeks ago versus Woodbury. He's just not afraid to put himself out there, you know, and put himself in the line of fire. And this is something that I like about Caesar. This is something that I like about the Penns Grove team as a whole. I mean, with Anthony Brown, Knowledge Young, Karan Caesar, and Romello Erickson, this is a very good team on paper, but they have been playing up in their division, considering they're in the Diamond Division, and, you know, this 2-year cycle for them might end up producing some unfavorable results just because of who they have to play, your Glassboro and Woodstown and all those folks. Here comes a rush to the left. I believe Caesar was on the carry again. That'll be about 3 or 4 yards, 2nd down.
Let's go 2nd down and 6.
It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon, 66 degrees here at game time. Of course, it was dipping into the low 50s last night, but now the sun is out here in Kearney's Point, and we're having fun here in Jim Devonshire Field. Penns Grove still in their first offensive possession and only on their 2nd set of downs. Here comes a rush from number 3, Anthony Brown. He finds some space, and he will rush his way all the way up to the 31, and that'll be a 1st down with authority for the Red Devils.
1st down for Penns Grove on their 31-yard line.
Yeah, that's 28.
Yeah, a little bit further than we thought. It's at 28.
He's got to send that Paulie Iron.
But this rushing core for Penns Grove is finding their way through in this first drive with ease, with Caesar and the senior Brown. Sending Young in motion twice. He cuts back to the left with Erickson under center. Trying to force Salem to jump. Doesn't go. Caesar dives forward and gets tackled at around the 21. Tackle that time made by number 60, Emmanuel McFarland.
6-yard gain from Penns Grove. 2nd and 4. I'm getting there. Starting out, so kind of going.
4 minutes gone here in the first quarter. It's 2nd and short. After a handful of rushing gains, they still have not attempted a pass yet. We've got a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a false start.
False start, Penns Grove, 5-yard penalty. Second down, 8 yards.
Excuse us there as we were fixing our camera tripod for a moment. Last night in Pittman Gateway, a total of 36 penalties were called in that game, including 5 unsportsmanlike penalties and 8 personal fouls. And that game wasn't even a chippy game. Penns Grove in the I form. sending Young in motion. Handoff to Caesar on the fake jet. Again, this gets stamped out at the line of scrimmage, and that'll be third down. Big thing for Salem, they can hold them out on this first drive. You want to stop that momentum from ever building. And for a team that's 0-8 this year, in only 2 of Salem's games were they the first one to score. So if you can flip those tables a little bit here early on and stop Penns Grove in your tracks, just find a way to get themselves in the right position. It's third and mid-range after a loss of 2. And Erickson Hubbard in the shotgun. Dropping back. He dumps off a pass. It is caught. That's by Knowledge Young. He uses every force in his body to dive forward, but Salem gets on top of it, and that will be not only inside the red zone, but it's going to be a first down Penns Grove. That will put them not only inside the red zone, but even closer to the end zone than we thought. That's going to put them at the 10-yard line. It will be first and goal. I mean, it is exactly from the 10-yard line. No ifs, ands, or buts. And they'll run back with the I form here. Early on in quarter number 1, Penns Grove on the doorstep. He tripped himself up, it looked like there, on the carry by Anthony Brown. Brown with 165 rushing yards going into this season, 55 receiving yards, and 62 total tackles in his Penns Grove career. 52 of them have come this year. Also has been known for some extra points for Penns Grove. He is 4 for 6 on extra point attempts this year. That's the beauty of a South Jersey Group 1 school. We saw Hudson Rue last night. He threw a pass, he made a reception, he made an extra point, and he rushed for a first down. I mean, basically on a South Jersey Group 1 team, unless you are really, really good with a giant roster, guess what? Everybody can play everywhere. Your linemen play both sides of the ball. Your receivers are your running backs are your receivers. Your tight ends are your potentially your linemen. The only person that's really a specialist is the quarterback. And I mean, the amount of South Jersey Group 1 teams we've seen this year running straight out of the Wildcat formation and not even daring to run a pass. It certainly is interesting how that landscape has evolved over the generations. Penns Grove is on the 4-yard line. It's third and goal. Another handoff to Caesar. There's a penalty marker down. And it is a touchdown, Penns Grove. Karan Caesar finds the end zone. No, whatever, there's some yellow object in the end zone that I mistook for a flag. I apologize. It's not, I'm not talking about the pylon. There's something behind one of the Salem players there that I mistook for penalty marker. You can see it there. Not sure, to be quite honest with you. Here's the extra point. It is blocked. Yeah, that's what we were talking about there. Right next to the end zone, there's a little, it's like a yellow, some sort of yellow object where that person's walking by there. I'm not sure, but it could have been just an extra pylon. We'll be right back. It's 6-0 Penns Grove as the PAT gets blocked. The marching band plays on as Penns Grove Red Devils take a 6-0 lead. We're joining you here from Jim Devonshire Field as the Red Devils take a early lead on a very productive drive. 65 yards, and it took 6 minutes. I think the ball came out on the kickoff. There's commotion all over, and I think Penns Grove might have just taken over the kickoff return. Yeah, we're pausing for his second year. All right, it is the Salem ball. We had commotion and confusion everywhere, honestly. I didn't know what was going on there, but with Salem, you know, in their last game of the regular season, with them having less than 2 wins, they're ineligible for a playoff spot, but a chance to at least maybe play spoiler here versus Penns Grove. Kind of like if you're going down, if we're going down, then you're going down with us. But, you know, like we said, Penns Grove lost a lot last year. You know, John Emmel is an incredible head coach, and, you know, there's a lot to be said about the influence when a guy like Bryce Wright ends up, you know, packing his bags and going to West Deptford to follow his head coach. You know, he's an incredibly talented player, and if John Emmel had stayed in Penns Grove, he probably would have stayed with him. But he had 1,278 rushing yards as a sophomore in 2023. And now it's 527, as that's an incompletion to the left side.
Pass, Salem, 3rd and 13, number 22.
3rd and 13 for the Rams. So Penns Grove looking to back these guys up, and the tail end of the first quarter. I mean, this quarter has kind of flown by a little bit. Knock on wood, that is, but we'll see what Salem's got in the tank on 3rd and 13. And when we get a chance, we'll bring up the South Jersey Group 1 United Power Rankings along with the breakdowns of how each bracket is going to be sorted so that we know where everybody's going to stand after Saturday. He's in trouble. Troy Carey gets sacked by the Penns Grove defense. And that will set up 4th down and long for the Rams.
4th down.
A host of Red Devils were in on that one. Couldn't tell who specifically got the sack. The punt crew is out. Knowledge Young will return for the Red Devils. And punting this one will be Andrew May, the multi-sport athlete for the Rams. He gets the punt off, but the flag is down on the play.
Offside with him.
Offsides. It's going to be offsides on the Rams. May, also a baseball player for the Salem Rams. We've covered them a couple of times in the South Jersey Group 1 playoffs. Yeah, Penns Grove gets hit with an encroachment.
4th and about 16.
So after the sack to the quarterback, Troy Carey, here we go. May sends it off. It will land at the 43, and it will bounce over the head of Young. He picks it up at the 15, rather at the 25. He will take this himself. He's got some space, and now gets pushed out of bounds. He is standing on top of the, or was standing on top of the sideline bench there. Didn't seem like Young was too happy there with a late shove. And the Red Devils are able to return this football on the punt return all the way across the 50. I mean, for a fact that it went over Young's head and went back to the 25. He picked it up, returned it for 29 yards. And now the Red Devils, up by 6, look to end this quarter with a bang. They've got a minute 55 and a 6-0 lead here at Devonshire Field. Hand off over the middle.
Caesar with a 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4.
Of course, Salem as well, with their 3rd head coach in 3 years. Of course, last year we covered a Salem game last year in a 38-14 win with Danny Mendoza at the helm. It was their first game at the new Salem facilities that were actually on the property of Salem High School. They went 2-8 last year and did make the playoffs, but lost on the road to South Hunterdon by a score of 16-6 in South Jersey Group 1 action. 2nd and 4. Caesar in motion. That's going to get stopped. Did you see Caesar on that play? He started to limp as he was running on that play. So now he's coming off the field there. Hopefully he's all right. Seems to be weight-bearing, but they will call it a Penns Grove first down. They got across. The ball will now be spotted at the 36. Of course, in 2022, Montre Wright led them to an 11-2 record in 2021, 8-5 in 2022, when they were also a part of the Diamond Division, the same one they are today. Here comes a dive over the middle. Another big gain for Penns Grove. They will tell them to set this one up on 2nd down, I believe. That will end the first quarter. So, Penns Grove gets a couple of nice rushes, and they've only attempted one pass today, but it doesn't really matter because they are on the board first, and it is 6-0 in favor of the Red Devils. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
We're back here in the second quarter. It is Penns Grove 6, Salem 0. Penns Grove on the 26 on 2nd and short. Brown runs into everybody and their mother on 2nd down and short. A host of Rams were in on that tackle, including number 55. that being Wyatt Irvine. That'll be 3rd and 1. So a gain of 1 puts them on the 25. As we begin quarter number 2 here from Jim Devonshire Field, with head coach Mark Macarone, 1-7 for the Penns Grove Red Devils, looking to get that second win in order to possibly give them a chance at South Jersey Group 1 playoff action. Now, if Penns Grove makes it in, it is most likely that their number 1 seed opponent would be Glassboro. Glassboro beat Woodstown by a score of 20-7 last night, as that is a first down. As that'll be a first down for the Red Devils. I mean, that was something that was scheduled perfectly. Glassboro and Woodstown, the 2 best teams in South Jersey Group 1, happening to play on the last week of the regular season. Both teams were 7-0. You don't get much better than that. Woodstown lost. You know, it was an incredible game back and forth between those 2 teams. And Glassboro pulled away and was able to take a lead that they would not relinquish. To the right side, Caesar on the carry for 3 or 4 yards. So after Glassboro and Woodstown, it's Shore in the 3 spot. They are undefeated at 8-0. And at the moment, it looks like Woodstown, despite having a loss, will remain above Shore in the 3 spot. Hallsboro will take the 4 spot, Shalleck in 5, Middlesex 6. Haddon Township was upset last night by Sterling, 34-6. And that was a decent upset for the Silver Knights. Haddon Township is in the 7th spot, Riverside in 8, Burlington City in 9, Woodbury in 10, Pennsville 11, and then New Egypt 12, Manville 13, Clayton 14, Audubon in the 15th spot, but they did accept a forfeit last night to Camden Catholic. Penns Grove at the moment in the 16th spot with Kip Cooper Norcross waiting in the wings. In the back, we are going to have a delay of game on Penns Grove. So on the outside looking in behind Penns Grove, because remember, if Penns Grove doesn't get a second win, they would be ineligible, which would put Kip Cooper in that spot. Now, Kip Cooper in their own right, they certainly have reasons to be excited, especially if Salem can pick this up on defense. And at the moment, the Titans are making sure that they have a reason to get into the playoffs. They lead at halftime, 22-12, over Bishop Eustace. There was a lot of scoring in the last 5 minutes of the half, including a safety. So Highland Park at 5-3 is behind them. They won last night versus South River, 37-25. It's 2nd and 10 for the Red Devils. Hubbard drops back. He will let this one fly, and the intended receiver ends up not showing up.
Let's go 3rd, 10.
It's a good concept there, trying to go for 2nd and 10, passing it to the right side and just trying to find somebody open, but there was nobody open. So if everyone down from the 18th spot, you got Pittman in the 19th spot, Point Pleasant Beach in 20, and South Hunterdon, which is the team that Salem lost to back in the 2022 playoffs. I apologize, the 2023 playoffs. By a score of 16-6. We saw Gateway last night. They lost 44-zip to Pittman, and they are in the 23rd spot and are most likely done in their playoff ventures. Erickson drops back on a 3rd and 10, and it's going to be broken up. Intended for Knowledge Young. And it ends up having some good coverage in the Salem secondary by number 5.
Right down here.
Oh, yeah.
So Caden Robinson with some great coverage in the Salem secondary. They will keep the offense on the field on 4th and 10. And it's going to be a sideline warning on Salem. Fourth and 10, passes it, and it's incomplete. So Penns Grove takes a little bit of a detour. They end up passing 3 times over the middle. Back-to-back incompletions, in fact, back-to-back-to-back incompletions for the Red Devils. That'll be a turnover on down. Salem takes over in their own territory at the 24. And that's where Salem will start their drive here in the second quarter. And Salem has had 2 significant quarterbacks this year, one of them being Troy Carey. He missed 3 games from the end of September to mid-October. He came back last week versus Woodstown. And in fact, he had his best game yet by a long shot. I mean, there's really no debating what he was able to do. 279 passing yards in the loss for Salem. And he had both of his touchdowns this season, both of his passing touchdowns, along with 2 interceptions. Salem picks up a false start. That'll be 1st and 15 now. This is what happens when we've got a rush-heavy game. We are 9 minutes left in the first half. This game started 8 minutes late. We're 28 minutes into this game. And for crying out loud, it's halfway through the second quarter almost. So sometimes you need a quick football game here and there. And with Salem being a rush-heavy team, maybe it's something these guys are going to be able to accomplish tonight. Carey sending man in motion. Oh, look at that. Ball's going to come out. Penns Grove has it. They're picking it up, and they're going to bring it back to the house. Touchdown, Penns Grove. Knowledge Young. Or no, Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown picks it up, and Penns Grove recovers on Salem's first snap of the drive after a false start penalty. And the Red Devils take a 12-0 lead. Penns Grove needed that a little bit. I think that they had the wind knocked out of them a little bit after. They're going to go for 2 here, I believe. Might as well make it even after the PAT was blocked. And the Red Devils, however, beforehand, will call a timeout. 8:41 left in the second quarter. Penns Grove takes a 12-0 lead on a little scoop and score by the Red Devils. We'll be right back. So Penns Grove gets on the board again with a touchdown on a fumble recovery, returned for 15 yards by Anthony Brown III. And Romello Erickson and friends will go for 2. He rolls this one out to the right, and it is incomplete. So Penns Grove is no good on both of their PATs tonight. We will stay on the air as it is 12-0 in favor of the Penns Grove Red Devils. It's been a fun day so far for these guys, as Penns Grove with a win would most likely find a spot somewhere in the playoffs, whether it's in the 15 seed or 16 seed. I mean, obviously Kip wants to win, because if they end up knocking out Audubon because of the forfeit, I wonder if Penns Grove would get as high as the 15 seed, and then Kip, which by the way in their first year of WJFL membership would take the 16 seed. That would be very interesting. Before these guys go to kickoff, let's riff off some out-of-town scores from last night. Rancocas Valley beat Lenape 42-21. Trenton beat Robbinsville 17-13 in some Central Jersey WJFL action. Lawrence beat Riverside 21-14, and in a defensive gauntlet, Cedar Creek shut out Ocean City 7-0. Oak Crest had no problem with Lower Cape May. That was a 60-0 shutout. Notre Dame beat Allentown in a squeaker 31-28. Eastern beat Highland in one of our fan vote options from last week 42-6. Holy Cross Prep beat Lindenwold in WJFL United play 45-12. Triton beat Deptford 27-6. St. Augustine upset Millville 27-21, and that kind of creates a conundrum in playoff discussion. Middle Township shut out St. Joe's Hamilton in their last game of the season 17-0. Here comes the kickoff. It's going to get booted by Robinson, who kicks it off the right foot. He picks this one up, and whistles fly at around the 20, it looks like. And that's where they take over. Vineland beat Cherry Hill West 16-3. Another DWB fan vote option from last night that did not succeed. Delran beat Morristown 24-7. Absegami beat Cumberland to give the Cumberland team a 2-6 record to close out their season, 35-20. And of course, the marquee game of last night, Glassboro-Woodstown. Glassboro beat Woodstown 20-7. Maple Shade shut out Florence 14-0. Burlington City beat Palmyra in an unusual score 50-11. Sterling upset Haddon Township 34-6. Egg Harbor Township beat ACIT 42-13. And here comes a handoff up the middle. Finding some space, and that might be Salem's most consequential rush of the night so far. They just really haven't been able to get any momentum going. Especially down by 12 now, you have to be able to find a way to pick up steam. So they do pick up 8 on the play. That brings up 2nd and short. Gloucester beat Pleasantville 19-16 last night. Pittman beat Gateway 44-0 in our feature game from last evening. Pennsauken shut out Clearview 38-0, and Pennsville beat Collingswood 47-14. Here comes a rush to the left side. I think the ball came out again. And Penns Grove is going to pick up another fumble recovery. How about that? That is their 2nd in a row. And Salem has had some monumental troubles picking up the football as the Red Devils continue to drive quickly and efficiently. It's from the opposing 38. It's not a scoop and score like we had last time. But that certainly is a big sigh of relief there for the Red Devils. Kingsway beat Williamstown 35-7. Shalleck beat Woodbury 27-16. Paul Six beat Haddonfield 19-13. Washington Township beat Timber Creek 17-0. And here's 1st and 10 for the Red Devils from the 38. Handoff to Caesar. Falls for about 4 yards. That'll be 2nd down. Camden Catholic beat Audubon in a forfeit. That is technically scored as a 1-0 final, which sounds really goofy because it is. But Cherry Hill East beat Bridgeton 35-14. Shawnee beat Hamilton 39-14. Mainland beat Delsey in overtime 21-14. And that's all we got for South Jersey. So, great slate of games from last night and a great slate of games continuing this afternoon. You've got Cherokee and Winslow at 1, Burlington Township and Cinnaminson hanging in there. And hold on here as Penns Grove will call a timeout. They use their 2nd of the first half. We'll be right back after this. 2nd and 7. Finding some space up the middle, the Red Devils are going to dive forward for a first down at the 25. They will move the sticks for a Red Devils first down.
It's an 8-yard gain, Penns Grove first down. 1st and 10, Salem 25.
Let's see what they've got in store here as Penns Grove looking to add on. Picked up a fumble recovery touchdown by Anthony Brown. And now Penns Grove continuing to be proactive in their offensive drives here this afternoon. Another handoff gets stopped, a name that we've been hearing a lot on the defensive side for Salem, number 55, Wyatt Irvine. 6'1", 230.
2nd and 8. Close this window. Like equal?
The winds.
The wind, exactly. A little bit lower. I don't know. Inward. Yeah, that'll be.
Second and 8. Again diving forward, another big gain for the Red Devils.
Ron Caesar, first down. Let's go 1st and 10, 14. Salem 14.
So this will bring Penns Grove back into the spotlight, back into the red zone. So Penns Grove setting themselves up well here at the halfway juncture almost, as this one is caught by Knowledge Young. He will take himself out kind of as he gets pushed out just a hair. He'll be at the 5 now. It is a little bit, just with the sun and with the fact that there is no yard-by-yard markers. There's only the 5-yard markers, and there's not even full hash marks. Salem calls a timeout.
Salem, timeout.
We'll stay on the air here as it's 12-0 Penns Grove as the Rams with Kemp Carr burn their first timeout. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon.
Off the clock, so shallow. No, to know that you had Jamie being following, Monday, and I told myself, it's like, yeah, I'm scared. That was good. It was just like, I was just like, I knew
Back rolling here, under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Penns Grove certainly has had the early edge, and they are 5 yards away from extending that here at Jim Devonshire Field. Here comes Knowledge Young, diving forward. And I think the ball came out. I think Salem's going to pick it up now. He's got it. How about that? Number 25, the freshman Isaiah Santiago picks up the fumble recovery, and that's a taste of their own medicine there. Two fumble recoveries for Penns Grove, and Salem picks up one as well. However, they have been backed up deep into their territory with this fumble recovery. Yeah, they're going to be backed up to their own 6-yard line. And here we go. Handoff. Does not get too far. The thing about Salem is that they seem to be a slowly but surely kind of team. A team that, you know, if they only gain 4 yards every play, they can get a first down, but you got to get there first. We saw them versus Woodbury back on September the 14th, and, you know, we saw from them in week 2 is very similar to what we're seeing in week 8, is that this is a team that, you know, is going with the long game, basically. You know, if they're going to find the end zone, they're going to find the end zone with 5 seconds left on the clock. They don't need to break away a lot, and honestly, I don't know if they have the resources to break away a lot on these plays. But, you know, that's not, you know, that's just a product of what we've seen from them this year. Now a rush out to the right side, getting dropped. That is number 4. Oh, hold on. We've got late penalty markers coming in. Very late penalty markers after the rush by Terrence Smith Jr. The 5'10", 160-pound running back. So I think this is going to be some extracurriculars here that brought out the flag. You can see they were just having a quick discussion there with Knowledge Young of Penns Grove. They will wave the flag off.
There's no penalty. No penalty on the flag.
So we thought that maybe there were some extracurriculars on that play, but after the discussion, it has been waved off. Salem picks up 5 yards on the rush by Terrence Smith Jr. And now they are still at their own 11, but in marginally better field position with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the first half. Oh, that one's going to be incomplete. Robinson almost had it. It bounced out of his hands.
Incomplete pass. 4 and 6.
Also, shout out to the Penns Grove Marching Band for playing Chicago 25 or 6-4. I did not think that I'd be hearing that at a high school football game. It is 4th and 5. Andrew May back on his own goal line to punt. It's up there. And coming in on the run, Knowledge Young returns. And Penns Grove will get excellent field position as this punt is going to be returned all the way back to the 25. So how about that? Penns Grove put themselves in excellent field position. You know, it kind of reminds me of last night we were at Pittman Gateway, and the Gateway Marching Band, their play, or their musical, it was a Green Day musical, which never would have thought in my life I'd hear a Green Day musical, but here we are. That's the world we live in. Caesar over the middle. He will go to the right side. And Karan Caesar scores a touchdown. Karan Caesar with the touchdowns called by the athletic director, Edward Golden. That'll be the 3rd of the day. Stole the spotlight from the public address announcer, and it's 18-0. Caesar breaks free from 27.
That's right. You had a grandmother who up here, you forgot one of the names. You had it?
Who was that?
I don't know.
I didn't forget what. That's one for the kids. Right.
That was a tackle, wasn't it?
18-0. Penns Grove has not converted on any of their PATs, whether it's of the 1-point or 2-point variety. Erickson drops back to pass, and this time the two-point conversion is good. It was caught by Knowledge Young, as he has been a little bit of everywhere tonight, as Karan Caesar picks up the touchdown. Erickson to Knowledge Young for the two-point conversion. We'll be right back. 3:08 left in the first half. We're back on here from Jim Devonshire Field. Penns Grove converts their first two-point conversion of the day. And it is 20-0 in favor of the Red Devils, as they are going to look to find their way into the playoffs. Here comes the kickoff. Goes to the left side for Salem. They're going to break free for some space. They're going to get all the way up to the 46 on the return by the senior Michael Green. And Salem, for the first time tonight, really has some good field position.
So it's going to be called the field entrance.
Kickoff, Salem ball, 1st and 10 on the 46.
It's the field entrance week.
So the plan for next week, we have some RCSJ playoff stuff lined up, but things are really going to start winding down for us until Thanksgiving, when the basketball season starts in JUCO, and the high school basketball season starts on December 18th. We will have our basketball selection show where we announce which games we'll be covering for the high school basketball season on Thursday, December 3rd. So we'll have to start scrambling some AD emails in a few weeks, but the rush over the middle goes for about 6 yards, and Salem finally, maybe I speak a little too soon, but they're starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. Second and 4.
From 5-yard gain, Salem 2nd and 5 from the 29.
So they are across midfield and across the 50, and it would be a big statement for them to get on the board before the half. They have 2.5 minutes to do it, and it's certainly doable, but Penns Grove has beaten them out at every turn so far in this matchup. Another handoff to Green. Flag comes in. He gets hit from behind. And we do have penalty markers as Green was getting dragged down.
What gate's at the yard line on about 35, 25 down?
Yeah.
The tackle was made by Penns Grove's number 2.
Holding Salem.
It's going to be offensive holding.
Holding Salem. Holding Salem.
I don't think that. I don't think that. He's had enough.
After 10-yard penalty, 2nd and 15.
He's had.
On the Salem 40.
I hope so. It's like, God, man, Tom, just doing all right. Were you there?
Oh, one more.
Grandparents of the senior.
You're talking about all last year?
Player.
All last year? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was there for. Oh, not this year's West Deptford and Salem. I was at West Deptford and Salem last year. But let's see what they've got here after the holding call. From their own 42, we were just talking there with the athletic director, Anwar Golden. Pass is dumped off to the right side. It is caught. That's a huge hit to number 2, Jared Pugh, who ends up getting hit from all angles. That'll bring up 3rd and long now. Should be about 3rd and 12 from the 45. Only got 3 yards on that play.
3rd and 12 on the 44.
As Troy Carey, with the offensive line collapsing on that play, had to dump off a pass, and the target was the senior Jared Pugh. It is 3rd and 12. Working through the pocket as, again, the line collapses. The Penns Grove defensive front finding a way to get through at every turn. That'll bring up 4th down as Troy Carey will trot off on the sideline, and it looks like Andrew May is back on the field.
Yellow ball, 4th and 13.
And they've got 45 seconds before the half, and it looks like Troy Carey's actually going to stay on the field. So for what it's worth, I mean, it's the tail end of the first half. Got to find a way for Salem to get on the board here. They're running this play out a lot, actually. I'm surprised, unless they might just take a delay of game. They were either going to take a delay of game or just call a timeout. That's what they did. So Salem burns down as much clock as they can. 12.5 seconds left in quarter number 2. It's 20-0 Penns Grove. We'll be right back. We are back on air here from Penns Grove at Jim Devonshire Field. 12.5 seconds left. Salem called the timeout. Their second. That pass is tipped and incomplete, and that will give them another play with 5.5 seconds. Yeah, I mean, on 4th and long, it might as well. Although, actually, hold on, no, that was 4th down. But the down marker on the opposite side of the field read it as 3rd. They never changed it from 3rd to 4th down before that incompletion. So we have had just a chaotic scene of events. Some of the senior posters also are starting to fly away. Penns Grove will get in formation with 5 seconds left. And Romello Erickson will kneel. And at half, it is Penns Grove 20, Salem 0. It's been all in favor of the Red Devils, as Penns Grove still is 24 minutes away from a chance at a playoff berth. We'll be right back in about 15 minutes. They've got their senior day ceremonies, and everything else will come back to you in about 15. We'll be right back.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
One nothing Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. The poster child now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0. Excuse me, Goldberg is a shortstop tonight, but he had a .400 average in 2023 as a junior. A homer in each of his sophomore and junior campaigns, .331 career mark and a .430 career slugging percentage. And speaking of home runs, there's a fly ball to left, and it's gone! Devin Goldberg answers on opening day with a first pitch rocket to left, and it's 1-0 Bridgewater. We were just talking about the long ball, and he stomps on the plate, mobbed at home, and Goldberg, the leadoff man, with a swing of gold. It's 1-0.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or, excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro's doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field.
trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders, cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in game one. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1-0.
we have returned from Jim Devonshire Stadium, and by the way, wanted to give some props to Al Muskowitz for sending us his halftime stats for today's game. Penns Grove has already rushed for 128 rushing yards as he's talking to one of their coaches down there. It's hard to miss a guy like Al Muskowitz, probably the only guy wearing a hat like that in South Jersey. But Salem has only rushed for 22 yards this afternoon, and they're going to try to find a way to get back on the board here in the third and fourth quarters. Salem has only attempted has only gotten 3 passing yards. Penns Grove with 23. I mean, they've been basically better at every turn. And at the moment, Penns Grove just seems like they want it more. And I think that's where they stand right now is that, they have a playoff spot on the line, and they're 24 minutes away from getting that spot. Now, like we said, we got a little bit of an update from our good friends over at the Central Jersey Sports Twitter page. And this also was posted by Pittman Sports, a resource that we use a decent amount. The UPR being updated literally as of maybe an hour ago puts Pittman in the 16th spot and puts Penns Grove at the 17. So in the past hour, they've gone from being in the playoffs to being on the outside looking in. The changes were made to knock Woodstown down to the 4 spot. Paulsboro is at the 3. Glassboro remains in the 1 seed. Shore, the only other undefeated team in South Jersey Group 1 at 8-0, they have moved up to the 2 spot. Shalleck, after a win over Woodbury, is at 5. Middlesex is at 6. Burlington City is at 7. They moved up 2. Haddon Township moved down 2 spots and is at 8. Pennsville is at 9. Riverside also lost 2 spots. They are in the 10 spot. Woodbury dropped 1 at 11. And despite forfeiting to Camden Catholic, Audubon gained 3 spots, and they are now in the 12th spot. At 7-2, Manville is in the 13th spot, and Point Pleasant Beach. We were talking about Point Pleasant Beach earlier. They have jumped 6 positions from the 20th spot to the 14th, and New Egypt is at the 15th spot. Pittman is at 16. Penns Grove is at 17. Clayton drops 4 spots from 14 to 18. Highland Park was already on the outside looking in. They're now down at 19. And then Kip Cooper Norcross, we were just talking about them. Maybe a potential playoff bid as they were in the 17 spot going into today. They have been moved down to the 21 spot as they lead over Bishop Eustace in the second half. I just hadn't heard of a team forfeiting a game and gaining 4 spots, but we've got some football to play. Penns Grove to kick this one away. Number 55 for the Red Devils, Damani Bryce, sends this one away. It's a roller to the 35. And he gets hit there, number 25 for the Rams. That being the freshman Isaiah Santiago, who picked up a fumble recovery in the first half. And that's where we roll here from Devonshire Field.
38.
See, that was Central Jersey Sports Radio who posted that in the last half hour. But remember, Salem being 0-8, they don't have as much to play for except maybe being a spoiler. But after all, with Pittman, that's the thing was that Matt Cosentino posted an article last night for NJ.com saying Pittman rolls Gateway or beats Gateway 44-0 and awaits playoff fate. As here comes the rush up the middle from number 2, that being Jared Pugh. I mean, what team is a 6-1 record and has to await their playoff fate? I never understood that, but that'll be neutral game. That'll be 2nd and 10. So like we said, with the brackets poised to come out slated to come out on the 27th, which would be tomorrow, we'll probably be scrambling to send athletic directors their emails from us on Monday, and probably by Tuesday or Wednesday we'll find out where we're going to be. And most likely we will have, if Paulsboro remains in that spot where they'll have a home game, which I don't think they can lose, we'll end up having a Saturday double dip. Here comes a drop back. Almost hit as he throws, but instead it's caught for a gain of maybe 1 or 2. Pugh the receiver, as the pocket collapses and the junior carry makes the completion to the right side. He's right around 65% pass completion on the season.
3rd and 8 from the 41.
So a minute and a half gone in the third quarter. The plan is this: whoever ends up playing Paulsboro, because they should have a home game, it's most likely an 11 a.m. start. What we're thinking is we go to Paulsboro and then we hop over to Gateway for a 3 p.m. crossover game between the Gators and the Collingswood Panthers. But that is unconfirmed. He runs through the middle. That'll be trouble, and it will be a minor sack as he only loses about a yard. It still brings up 4th down. It definitely is a better result than what it could have been, as he was back 5-6 yards behind the line of scrimmage and ends up redeeming himself for just a sack of 1. They're at their own 40. Like we said, a team that has only passed for 13, or rather has passed and rushed for 13 total positive yards here this afternoon. They just have not gotten any momentum going. And Andrew May sends this one away for a punt on 4th and, not really 4th and manageable, just outside of that range. At least for Salem here tonight, down by 20. A slow roller of a snap, and it goes out to Knowledge Young. He picks it up at the 23 and will return it, shedding off a couple of tacklers, and a late flag comes flying in from the back at the 35.
Knowledge Young. Knowledge Young on return. Yes, that's good. Penalty is blocking the back.
Penalty is a block in the back against the Red Devils. That will knock them back. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who pass the take the New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds for yourself or your child, you can book an appointment today at Suite E of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road.
Penns Grove on the Penns Grove 23.
Penns Grove backed up to their own 23. Up the middle, a rush by Young. He'll get about 5 yards. Still on his feet, no whistles yet, and finally the whistles come flying in after about an 8-yard gain. Still some pushing and shoving after the play. That'll be 2nd down. If you didn't hear last night, a huge record was broken in South Jersey as Lothier Brooks, the Alabama commit for the class of 2025 from Millville, surpassed Nolan Borgerson for the all-time New Jersey career receiving yards leader. He finished his game in a loss to St. Augustine with 4,243 career receiving yards. Nolan Borgerson out of Westwood Regional ended up playing Division I ball at Boston College from 2015 as he was a redshirt to 2019 as a grad student. And despite Borgerson being the receiving leader in New Jersey, he actually was a defensive back for most of his time, and mostly had special teams work for Borgerson as a member of the Boston College Eagles. But Borgerson back in 2014 set the state receiving record for career catches with 247, receiving yards and touchdowns with 52 in his career. And basically all of those records have been broken 10 years later by Lothier Brooks. Handoff up the middle on 3rd and short. They will move the sticks for a Red Devils 1st down. from the 35. They barely got that one across.
From the 35.
So Penns Grove still holding steady, but keeping the momentum very slow on this drive. As we're already 5 minutes into the second half. We've only seen a handful of plays on both sides. There we go. Sending Young in motion, and we got flags to the line of scrimmage. This is going to be a false start.
False start, Penns Grove. 5-yard penalty. First and 15.
I mean, for Salem, you take every break that you can get. You try to take those in stride and find a way, at any way possible, to get yourself in a more favorable position. If that means first and 15, guess what? You've got 5 more yards to back these guys up and force a stop. And Penns Grove has only punted 1 time tonight. That's it. They've either scored or the ball has been turned over. This is a keeper for the quarterback, Romello Erickson. He gets dropped by number 4, that being Terrence Smith. Of course, the notable piece missing from the Salem team was Davion Jackson, who won our Dan Wilkins Broadcasting Individual Performance of the Season award in a 38-14 win over West Deptford. He rushed for, I believe it was around 280 yards and scored 4 touchdowns. And we've been doing those every season since this football campaign from 2023, where we post our top 10 individual performances of the season. And a handful of those players from 2023 will probably also be getting the nod in 2024 as well. Here comes the handoff to Caesar to the right side. Oh, that's going to be a horse collar and a first down, in addition to the first down he already picked up. I mean, even I'm not a football expert, but you can pretty clearly see what that was all about there. Referees are discussing the situation. Oh, there was another flag on the play. I apologize. I did not see that. So, clock is stopped at 5:29 in the third. All right, so the horse collars against Salem.
After the first down, horse collar penalty against Salem, and then a personal foul against Salem.
All right, so that's...
First and 10.
Wow. So a double whammy. In addition to the horse collar, they pick up an additional personal foul. Wow, that is way down there. They are at... No, they're at the 24.
First and 10.
First and 10 from the 24 for the Red Devils, as they pick up a big break with a personal foul and a horse collar against the same team in the same play. So 2 separate fouls and a handoff to Brown gets stopped. Second down here for the Red Devils. Yeah, we're already halfway through this quarter.
Looking at the play, second and 10.
Penns Grove leads 20-0. They have not scored in this half. They scored once in the first quarter with a PAT blocked. then a fumble recovery ended up giving them a 12-0 lead. They attempted a 2-point conversion and failed, and then a 27-yard rush by the youngster Karan Caesar gave them the 20-0 lead that they have not relinquished since. 2nd and 10. Looks like 2nd and 9 here, actually, a 1-yard gain. Handoff over the middle. Gets a little bit more substance on it. Maybe 4 or 5 yards that time. That'll set up 3rd and mid-range. But that's the thing about two teams that are very consistent in the rushing game, is that you get quarters like this that seem to fly by, but also seem to slow down to a grinding halt at the same time. It's the Penns Grove faithful looking to cheer on their crew here. Third and mid-range. Big spot for the Red Devils as they look to extend their lead and extend this drive. From the 20, they're on the border of the red zone. Ball came out. And Salem's got it. The junior number 50, Samuel Rowley, picks it up. But the referees are discussing, so this might not be the end of it.
Ruling on the field, incomplete pass.
Ah.
And 6.
All right, so I spoke a little too soon there. It is an incomplete pass. Somebody is ripping a good bass line down there on the Penns Grove Marching Band.
Exactly.
4th and 6 from the 20. What was a fumble is actually ruled an incomplete pass. Here we go. Erickson rolls out to the right. He has room in the corner of the end zone, incomplete. And we do have a flag. Almost making the catch was Young. And this will be an offensive hold. Penalty is declined, and it's a turnover on down. Salem takes over after the incompletion.
Holding on Penns Grove, penalties decline. Salem's off, 1st and 10 on the 20.
I was going to say, they're going to be at their own 20. It's kind of like punting for a touchback a little bit. You know, this isn't the best field position that you could have, but still better than alternative options. You know, I'd like to see Salem, you know, maybe float a couple passes out there, because look, you know, the junior Troy Carey, he passed for 2 touchdowns and over 250 yards versus Woodstown. But now that momentum and that mentality seems to be out the window. They seem to be changing things up on the fly here, and I don't know, you know, what the situation is as to why, but this team looks completely different than what we saw, or not what I saw personally, but what you see in the stat sheet from the past couple of weeks, where they're putting up, you know, 15 or 20 points almost every night. That pass is complete to number 11, that being the freshman Quamir Bergen. That Penns Grove Marching Band players had at least a 3-minute bass solo now.
2nd and 7.
I'm all in favor of extended bass solos in marching band. I like that.
Number 24.
Maybe a little,
So we stand. So we got standing there.
maybe a little box of rain to honor Phil Lesh, who passed away yesterday. This is gonna collapse in the pocket, and Carey gets sacked. That'll be 3rd and long. 2 minutes and counting in the third quarter. There has been no score in this second half. Everything on the bottom of your screen has been from the second quarter and before. Penns Grove put up 14 in quarter number 2 and 6 in the first. Dropping back again with a very quickly collapsing pocket. That's to Bergen. They'll get within 10 yards of the first, but the whistles blow at around 4th and 8 as he brings it back to the 26. We're going to have an injury timeout here. So the pass is caught to the 6'1", 165 receiver Bergen. And they respot the ball at the 25. At Salem's own 25, that is.
After the pass, Salem's ball, 4th and 6.
90 seconds and counting in the third quarter. From the 25, Salem's own 25. They're going to keep the offense on the field. And they'll go back to Carey. He passes this one out to the right. Bergen will get stopped about 3 yards short. So they made 3 completions in a row. However, they just did not accumulate enough yards to get a first down. They were at 4th and 8. Definitely a possible play, but they were about 3 yards short as they passed it to the flat. And that'll be a turnover on downs as the Red Devils take over in enemy territory.
After the completion, Penns Grove ball, 1st and 10.
That will be from, right around the 27 there.
Salem's 27.
Don't forget, on Thursday, December 3rd, we unveil our high school basketball schedule for the 2024 to 25 winter campaign on Thursday, December 3rd. Honestly, I'll be blunt with you. I don't think there's any hashes on the field. Oh, you mean the orange markers? Okay.
No, on the sidelines here, sidelines.
Oh, okay, those, yeah. Yeah, the 20 and 30 and all that. Yeah, I was talking like the white markers, the left and right hash like you would use for field goals, but... Yeah, this is one of the few fields we've seen where there's only yard markers every 5 yards instead of every 1 yard with the little white notches. We've got 30 seconds left in the third. Penns Grove gains 3 on the prior play, 2nd and 7. Handoff over the middle. Caesar finds some space. And if he broke one more tackle, he would have had a first down. But instead, they break through into the red zone, and it is a first down. I don't know what I said there.
First down.
That's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. Yeah, they're going to be at the 13, and that will wrap up the third quarter, as these guys will leave the field for a brief moment. And with a scoreless third quarter, we've got 12 more minutes to play, and Penns Grove, now on the outside looking in the playoff picture, will look to redeem themselves in the final frame. It's Penns Grove 20, Salem 0 after 3. We'll be right back. Start of quarter number 4. Got ourselves a 20-0 Penns Grove lead. They've not scored since the second quarter. And both teams break from the huddle and prepare to meet at the 13-yard line as Penns Grove begins this fourth quarter in the red zone.
Beginning of the fourth quarter, Penns Grove ball, first and 10 on the 7:30.
By the way, and some more out-of-town playoff implications, Kip Cooper leads Bishop Eustis 36-25, and actually it's 44-25 now, so Kip is pouring it on. They're up by 19. Tugs at the jersey, he's brought down by 2 tacklers for Salem, number 4, Terrence Smith, and number 9, Michael Green. We've got a full start on Penns Grove, though, so that is all for naught.
Illegal formation.
I'm sorry, illegal formation. And a big lead already for Winslow in their final game of the regular season campaign. They lead in the second quarter 20-0 over the Cherokee Chiefs.
The illegal formation of Penns Grove, 5-yard penalty. Now first and 15 on the 18. Is that right?
Yeah.
Had to be, I mean, it's a previous foul.
So they're at the 18 on first and 15. Mark Macarone having a quick discussion with the referee.
Probably no foul down the ball. Another 49, but somebody set the position.
And by the way, a final score on here. The final score from Haddon Heights. Garnets beat the Northern Burlington Greyhounds 7-0. That game was scoreless at the end of the first half.
That's something we discussed pregame.
Somebody press the button where the clock is, and that's what they're doing.
Rushed out to the left side by Caesar. He finds some room and gets pushed out of bounds. Penns Grove wants a flag, and they got one for a late shove out of bounds by Isaiah Santiago. Might have also been number 0, William Dunn, in on that one.
Putting the first down, so you're on there.
Where was he having to run? First and goal. So,
Yeah, we're going to run 9. It's going to run in 4.5, first and goal. That's it.
unnecessary roughness.
It will be an unnecessary roughness call on Salem. Seen a handful of those this week as a whole.
We're on the 10, so we're going to 5. We're going to go to 5. It's not going to be first down, though, right? Not first down. First down is like a 3.
They're going to spot this ball way up there near the goal line. It'll be 3rd down.
After the end of the run, the penalty after the run from personal foul. As we're ball now 3rd and 2.
So this will bring up 3rd and short. Now they will roll the clock. All right. Yeah, I was like, why are we standing? Nope, never mind. We're going to have a whistle here. This time, it's a Penns Grove timeout. They burned their first of the second half after a little bit of confusion on the line of scrimmage. They are at the 2-yard line on the doorstep of the end zone. We'll be right back. Penns Grove at the 2. They run it from the I form. Handoff to Caesar is going to be well short. That brings up 4th down as they were not able to convert on 3rd and short. Now Penns Grove again looking to extend their lead, but with the absence of a permanent place kicker, you probably don't have much of a choice except to go for 4th and short here and go for gold. They're backed up to the 6, it looks like. It's 4th and 3. And first down marker is at the 5-yard line. So let's see what they've got in the tank. Romello Erickson still on the field with the rest of his offense. He's got 2 receivers to his right, looking to extend the lead and maybe put this game away for the Red Devils. He rolls out to the right. He has room, and the sidearm pass is caught for a touchdown. Karan Caesar, his 2nd touchdown of the day. And he picks one up to extend this lead, and most likely late in the 4th quarter, actually I should say early in the 4th quarter, should ice this game, and it's 26-0. Textbook play there. Can't get much better than that. Erickson rolls out to the right, finds an open man, and ends up scoring a touchdown to make this 26-0 in favor of Penns Grove. PAT is up, away, and good. So the first one was blocked. They went for 2 two-point conversions. One was successful. And Anthony Brown gets it through. It is a 27-0 Penns Grove lead. 10-12 in the 4th. We'll be right back. Early in the 4th quarter, there's a view of the Salem County foliage here late in the month of October. By the way, that final score from Bishop Eustace versus Kip Cooper won that one 44-25. Here comes the kickoff. It is a roller that gets past Santiago. It almost got past Green as well. He is still on his feet, breaking through 3 tacklers, and goes out of bounds at the 40. So Green with a valiant effort on the return.
By Green, 1st and 10 Salem on the 40-yard line.
And remember, Penns Grove with one more touchdown would enact the rolling clock. The new rule for this year, and we've seen it just a handful of times in our coverage, where if a team reaches a 33-point lead, the rolling clock starts and never stops, regardless of circumstance. Well, I should say it starts in with touchdowns and injuries, and penalties as well. Well, yeah, well, it wouldn't be a timeout if the clock kept running.
Just remember tips, that's all.
Tips, okay. Kind of like the PEMDAS we learned in high school math.
Remember tips. Injuries, penalties, and scores.
That one is a high floater of a pass that gets caught on I guess a high-arcing throw by Troy Carey.
Complete a pass, 2nd and 6, on the 44.
So a gain of 4 for Salem. Salem has not only been off the board tonight, they have not entered the red zone at any point, which, you know, considering Friday and Saturday games this week are looking like it's going to be both shutouts for us. One thing that we remember is with Pittman and Gateway last night, Gateway entered the red zone 5 times and did not score in any of those appearances. Over the middle, it is taken by Terrence Smith Jr., and I believe this is enough, and it will be for a Salem first down.
1st and 10, Salem on the 49-yard line.
So the battle of exit 4 seems to be in favor of the Red Devils this afternoon, as the pass is incomplete, was in and out of the hands of Caden Robinson.
After the incomplete pass, 2nd and 10, on the 44.
So Salem still in their own territory at the 44. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Wrestling, the top professional wrestling organization in South Jersey, bringing you high-flying action and off-the-wall competition throughout the state of New Jersey. For more information and for future events, visit DAWG Pro Wrestling or dogprowrestling.com. 27-zip in favor of Penns Grove just joining us. 2nd and 10 after an incompletion by Troy Carey. That one is caught by Caden Robinson. Ends up being enough for a first down. And for the second time in this drive, they'll move the sticks to the 36.
10, Salem.
From the 36.
Penns Grove, 37.
8:40 and counting. Here comes the pass. It is intercepted by Penns Grove and by number 25 for the Red Devils. Messiah Allah brings it in. And a big break for the Red Devils as Salem was driving. The wind gets knocked out of them. The holes get poked in the sails. And Penns Grove will take over with 8:22 in the game.
After the interception, Penns Grove ball, 1st and 10.
First and 10. Penns Grove is backed up to their own 9. And now Erickson, he gets hit as he throws. The pass is one-handed tipped. There are players flying everywhere. And it's incomplete. Looked like almost having a hand on that was Knowledge Young. And Anthony Brown as well.
2nd and 10 from Penns Grove on 9 yards.
And the Red Devils will call a timeout. Their second of the half. Salem still has all 3. Penns Grove has been using those timeouts wisely as they lead big here midway through the 4th quarter. Penns Grove with a long incompletion. They called a timeout, their second of the half. Penns Grove is backed up to their own 9-yard line. Hubbard with the handoff over the middle to Caesar, who dives back. Looks like he's going to dive at the 20, and that will be a first down for the Red Devils.
Caesar for 10-yard gain, 1st and 10, Penns Grove.
And if Penns Grove can manage their time wisely, they can deny Salem from having another drive at all. We've got 8 minutes left. They've got 80 yards to work with. And with the way that it's looking right now, you know, this game has been kind of decided by the fact that both teams are moving at a slow pace. It hasn't been these proactive offensive drives. I mean, even the first touchdown for Penns Grove took over 6 minutes to score. It took a big chunk out of the first quarter's time slot. So, you know, it's interesting to see how these guys operate and how this game has been both fast-paced but slow as well. Penns Grove will call a timeout, their third and final. Salem has all three remaining. We'll take a quick break, 27-7.
He's donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. One run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game. A 3-run inside the Parker to the 2.
Back live from Jim Devonshire Field.
Yeah, I was going 59 miles an hour. He was doing 80.
First and 10 from the 20. A new rusher in the game for the Red Devils. He's on his feet and scampers out of bounds at around the 32, 33. That will be a first down for the Red Devils. As somebody who we haven't seen too much of today, number 11.
And for Ron Murray, 1st and 10, Penns Grove. On the 35.
That was Mackay Murray on the carry. Like we said, his name wasn't even on the NJ.com roster. Had to bug our public address guy for the names there. We've got 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 27-0 Penns Grove. Another 6 points would enact the rolling clock. Oh, movement, but doesn't matter from Wiley. The handoff over the middle will get another 5 or 6 yards. It seems like Penns Grove, like we said, these guys want to win. Probably somebody's already told them that Kip beat Bishop Eustis, and they know that Pittman beat Gateway last night. And from the graph that we saw, from the chart that we saw, you know, right now the current standing is that Pittman is in the 16 spot, and Penns Grove was knocked down 1 spot to the 17th. So the result of this game will, with them being 1 spot out, will almost certainly determine directly whether or not they make the playoffs. Over the middle. That should be enough for a first down by a yard. Another rush by Mackay Murray.
And for Ron Murray, 1st and 10, Penns Grove. 46.
Don't forget, folks, our next broadcast is going to be the 29th of October, this upcoming Tuesday, in men's soccer action in the NJSIAA Region 19 tournament between the Middlesex Colts and the RCSJ Gloucester Roadrunners. In the 4 versus 5 game, opening up that playoff bracket for the men's soccer team. Erickson with the handoff over the middle will again get another 5 yards. I mean, these guys are just, I guess you could say, they're being very active in their drives, even in a juncture in the game that doesn't mean a whole lot. And by the way, halftime at Winslow Cherokee, it is all Winslow, 26-0 at half in favor of the Eagles over the Chiefs. Under 5 minutes to play, and Penns Grove not exactly getting, I would say not exactly playing at the quickest pace, because they don't need to. Here comes Caesar, though. He breaks through a couple tacklers, finally is taken down at the 25, and a gain of 26 yards brings up a first down and then some for the Red Devils.
Run by Caesar, first and 10, Penns Grove.
First and 10 after the rush of 26 by Caesar. And hold on here. We're going to have a delay of game on the Red Devils. You can see that Penns Grove coach was laying into that quarterback after the delay of game.
Delay game Penns Grove, 5-yard penalty, first and 15.
Hand off to Knowledge Young. Breaks a tackle from Robinson. They drop the stick. And he'll get shoved out of bounds by number 21, the senior, Raymere Jones. So he did scamper out of bounds. Let's see where they spot this. This will be short by maybe a yard.
Second one, Penns Grove.
And it will be from the 16-yard line, it looks like.
They're going to take off 20 seconds.
2 minutes and 45 seconds. Like we said, I mean, Penns Grove at this juncture in the game just trying to deny Salem a possession, as we do have a flag for a false start. So Penns Grove has been hit with some penalties in this drive.
After the 5-yard penalty for false start, Penns Grove second. And 6.
Backed up to the 21 here after the false start, sending Young in motion. He does hand it off to Young on the jet sweep. And he'll get wrestled to the ground. In on that one, number 56, the junior Antoine Rogers, and the senior number 52, Tyler Taylor. So we're at the 2-minute mark. Penns Grove has been using all 40 seconds allotted to them. As, like we said, I said it back when they were at their own 15-yard line. I said if they play their cards right, they can boot all 8 minutes of this remaining fourth quarter off the clock, and Salem might not even get the ball back, and would send Salem to an 0-9 season, just 2 years after going 8-5 and winning the South Jersey Group 1 sectional final before losing to eventual state champion Woodbury. Dropped over the middle. believe that was Murray on the cap.
Murray for the first down.
But Penns Grove, it's been all Penns Grove all day. They scored a touchdown in the first quarter. They scored 2 in the second, and now they go in victory formation after the first down. So they'll take a knee, they'll do one more, and then we'll meet at the 50. Penns Grove is certainly ready to go. And a win here could certainly give them a playoff berth. They won 6 games in 2023, but did not reach the playoffs. And with 4 fewer wins in 2024, they take a knee and will finish the 2024 regular season 2-7. And a chance to knock off one of the 2 higher seeds like Pittman, and a chance to win a South Jersey Group 1 playoff berth. 15 seconds left on the clock. Salem meeting at the 50 along with Penns Grove. And now that's going to be how this game ends on a kneeler, as the Penns Grove Red Devils finish off their season on a high note, their first win since September 6th versus Deptford. Ends up being the one that closes out the regular season, and now Penns Grove will await until tomorrow to figure out what their playoff fate is. And you know what? This is a game between 2 teams that did not have winning records, but still found a way to show who's boss. You know, the way I see it for this one, Penns Grove was the better team from the first snap until the last. And you look at it from not only their strength of schedule, even though they're in the same division, you also look at it from the standpoint of this. Salem lost 6 games this year, and this was their 7th loss of the season of 21 points or more. Penns Grove has only done that twice in their 7 losses. So these are 2 teams that are sharing the same division and have done a lot of losing. However, Penns Grove wins when it matters most, and Mark Macarone and his crew may just be headed to a South Jersey Group 1 playoff spot. That'll be all for us tonight here from Penns Grove, as a beautiful Saturday afternoon comes to a close with a 27-0 win over the Salem Rams. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Brandon the Kegerland and Anthony DePalma, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan, my producer and executive producer Vincent Folks, I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Tuesday for men's soccer playoffs between Middlesex and RCSJ. But until next time, have a good one, folks.